Hey Danielle, how you
Hey,
doing?
Nick. Good. How are you doing today?
Good, good. So everyone, this is Danielle from MaidThis Denver. MaidThis Denver was our first franchisee ever started in the middle of the pandemic. And Danielle, you guys are in, I think, year three now of business, right?
Correct. Just started year three. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Danielle, I'd actually love to just ask you a little bit about your story, like from going from year one to year three, where you guys are right now, and also kind of where you started. So maybe
Okay.
if you could start with where you at right now, like can I ask how many hours are you working per week? Do you work full time or part time as part of a day job? What's your
Yeah.
background?
Yeah. So I have another full-time career that I work.
Hmm.
And actually, at this point, we're lucky enough to have a team of three virtual assistants that work with us. So
Hmm.
my actual, work per week for Made This is anywhere from like 2 to 10 hours. So I'd say on average about five.
Very cool. And was it that way at the beginning?
No, no, it
Yeah.
wasn't. Again, we were actually we lucked out. We started during the pandemic, and so had a little bit more space and flexibility at that point to
Hmm.
dedicate to this. And it was a good amount of time in the beginning with like training. I would say we were doing like 3, 4 hours a day, right? Initially, of just like training through you, and
Hmm.
then working with the liaison that you had at the time and kind of getting everything established in Denver, and then doing the initial hard work of like trying to hire cleaners,
Yeah.
trying to get established marketing wise in Denver. So I would definitely say it was probably closer to 20 hours a
Yep.
week, if not more, when we first started up. So
Definitely. And can you tell me how was the first 1 or 2 years? Like, if someone's gonna ask you, what's your one like? What's your two like? What's your three like? Can you
yeah.
describe what those years are like?
Yeah. So first year, like I had the luxury of working with a partner, which is really nice, who had a lot of entrepreneurial experience. Because for me, this is the first time I've done anything like this, and so just working with your model has been really nice for anyone interested. Because I just think the support that like you give personally, and that like the structure you've built gives, makes this very like digestible. But anyway, like the first year was just kind of trying to figure it out and see what
Hmm.
worked well, what didn't work well, trying to get cleaners, feeling stressed in as much as like, yeah, is this worth it? Is this gonna work?
Hmm.
I think year two, we had a pivotal point where we decided we were going to kind of forego a little bit of growth to clean up our team. We didn't have the best group of cleaners,
Hmm.
and we were getting poor reviews, and people were no showing. And so we kind of just decided to clean house and kept, only a few cleaners that were consistently, doing well for us. And then, yeah, and then took our time to rebuild that team. And so kind of hit a little bit of a quiet point where it was like, we need to focus on the structure of this and worry
Hmm.
less about outcome and just trying to build it as quickly as possible. And so I think doing that actually really helped us and gave us a lot of strength. And so year two was kind of, I guess, transformational, maybe the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And then this past year has been just like, we've kind of reaped the benefits of that. It's been pretty easy. I'm decently hands off. We have a really good team in place, and so yeah, I would say we are seeing essentially like doubling growth each year. So if we were doing $1,000 in January, the next year we were doing 2,000. Then the third year we were doing around 4. So it's like seems to be pretty consistent that there's been steady growth
Yep.
each year. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely seen their numbers. And by the way, those are not monthly numbers, by the way. Those are just numbers
Or
Daniel
weekly.
mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
No, no, you're good. But I have seen that in your guys' growth where it just a lot of things just compound. I think you guys have
Yeah.
like, 150 Google reviews, 4.8 stars. A lot of those things just take a little bit of time. So
Yeah.
it seems like year three is kind of when you hit the growth phase and you really start scaling a little bit more
Yeah.
like hockey stick, is at least what I've seen from you guys.
Yeah, and I think I remember you even saying that it takes like year 2.5 to 3 of where you
Yeah.
saw growth out of LA as well. So
Yeah, definitely. And Dana, can I ask now that you are kind of in a position where you're working 2 to 10 hours a week, you have a really good team in place. It seems like the business is kind of growing even by itself.
hmm
What's the next phase of growth? Are you guys expanding or what are your thoughts?
yeah, well, we've kind of started Boulder, which is like a little town close to Denver. So that
Mm-hmm.
gives us a little bit of a project as well. It's pretty adjacent to Denver, and so the focus on that is like how to increase Airbnbs out of Boulder currently. And so I think what ends up happening is like we're looking at it more from, okay, we have a good team in place, we have enough cleaners, which is a luxury. Trust, that's
Mm-hmm.
usually the bottleneck. Um, but it's like, okay, so how can we ensure that leads are coming in a little more steadily? So now it's a little bit more of a creativity phase of
Mm,
like, oh, okay, what can we do that would bring somebody in? What's a new route for me? Social media is a huge challenge, and so
yep.
I actually work at a university and have recruited one of the students that I work with to help out with that. So
Yeah.
again, still that creativity of like, okay, this is a problem. How can we adjust and kind of see what might yield results here?
Yeah, I love it. And then the last question here. If someone is about to come into the system, to the system, and you wanted to give them some feedback from your experience of doing this for 3 years about what the journey is going to be like, how
Yeah.
it is in general, I'm curious what you would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been great for me. I would reiterate again, like not to flatter you, Neil, but it's been awesome working with you and working with the individuals that you choose reflect like your personality pretty heavily. And so everyone's been really kind, really supportive, really quick to help. I tend to need a lot of like repetition and people don't
Hmm.
get frustrated with that, and that's like that's really nice for me.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been a really great experience. Again, it's kind of patience. My other job also really has helped with conflict resolution, so you do need a little bit of a tough skin. People are going to call
Mm.
and not usually don't call and say like thank you so much for your service. They're calling you, they're not that happy. And so it's a balance of like customer service as well as understanding that like we're not saving lives here. We're just, trying to have people have a really good experience. And so how do you balance making money, making sure we're giving a good product to people,
Hmm.
and they're happy, as well as like kind of making sure that you're okay too at the end of the day.
Yep.
And again, I would just like reiterate that like your guys' support and just the support of the structure has been really, really helpful. I wouldn't have been able to do it without it. So
I love it.
that's my
Thanks so much,
experience.
Danielle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
that was
problem.
great. Cool. All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Take care.